This is the voice of disruption.
Welcome back. I'm Ken Rakowski. This is the Voice of Disruption, where we're here to help you disrupt yourself and find out what's disruptive in the world. Joining me in the studio is Mr. Andy Abramson. You and I go back a long time, 1998.
98.
Yep, it's when we connected. And back then, you were a PR guru. You were.
I'm still a PR guru.
Yeah, but
I just don't like to say it.
I know you don't. I like it. It still sounds cool.
It's my secret weapon.
No, your secret weapon is doing something that most cannot do, and that is whatever you want or whomever you want to sell to or M&A, merge and be acquired by, you know how to get the company ready to be sold to them. Might take a couple of years, but you can point in the distance, like that's the home run. It was at Babe Ruth who did it.
Well, it's the see around corner trick.
Yeah, you know how to do it.
And over the hill.
You are basically a fortune teller. You know where the fortune is, and you can point the companies in that direction by dressing them up the right way.
Alex Saunders, who's at Microsoft, wanted to know how I had the Midas touch.
Yep, and you do it. How many companies?
45.
45 companies that you have been part of to take them in that direction of being sold.
Either start, middle, all the way through, or end.
And big companies, IBM, Google, Yahoo, big names.
Yeah, Google's bought two of them. They bought Grand Central, then they bought Gibbs.
Yep.
Yahoo bought Media Code, which was Ian Rogers' company. Yeah. We had Cisco buy a company called Dynamicsoft. We had, Symantec bought Nucona. I mean, the list goes on.
The list goes on and on. As you said, it's a big number. And the reason why I want you here is, since you kind of could see into the future, you got that crystal ball that's always floating around with you. I want to talk about some industries that are disruptive today, okay? And I want to see where you want to take them, where you see them going. Fair enough?
Okay, so being that we started out in the streaming industry, let's start with streaming content.
Streaming content.
Because basically, streaming is killing the cable star.
Yeah, right, because video killed the radio star. Right. I get it.
Okay, so streaming is eating it up.
Netflix.
Hulu. YouTube TV.
Amazon.
View. Amazon Prime. And anything else that's coming along. Yip TV in the Spanish market. You've got companies that are taking people away from the traditional cable model. Nowadays, what people are doing is they're getting their content over the internet, and then they're buying one of these little dishes to get the local
dish. You're talking about like a
antennas.
Roku box, or
no. I'm talking about
for over the air.
For over the air.
Yeah, it's because
so all this stream content, and now that people have bigger pipes, so you have to realize, everybody, when Ken and I were doing this in 98, 99, 2000. You were lucky if you would get excited about, what, a meg and a half. Remember, we had a meg and a half connection.
Was a big deal.
Yeah.
300K was broadband back then.
Right. So now, if you don't have 300 megs, 350 megs from your cable provider, you go, what, that's slow. I've got a gig, you've got a gig. The whole idea of having big fat pipe to the end point is making it so much easier for the Hulus of the world, the Netflix of the world, the Amazons to totally disrupt. Who are the companies that people are now concerned about? It's no longer the Hollywood studios. It's Apple. It's Facebook. It's
Those
Amazon.
are the players.
Yeah, and
they're
Google.
buying studios. They're buying real Hollywood studios. We're seeing that happen.
We're seeing Apple negotiate to buy the Culver City
property. It's
property.
already done. It's already done. Google's already bought LA Center Studios. So, Andy, I want to understand something. So, theoretically, today, the majority of most cable and TV channels are owned by 6 companies.
Correct.
Okay, 6. And Netflix and Amazon, these are centralized, gigantic companies that were traditionally not content companies.
Well, look at what Disney did when they bought Major League Baseball's distribution platform and streaming platform. They bought BAMTech away from MLB, and BAMTech handles the NHL, the WWE, Major League Baseball, and now Disney's Movies Anywhere platform is going to be on their own.
Challenging against Netflix.
But they're also still selling the Netflix outside the United States.
So what's your future view? Will cable continue to compete and maybe somehow survive, or do you see maybe it's a handoff of the baton and cable will go the way antenna TV is going?
Well, like everything that the internet does, it flattens it.
Right.
So the middlemen are going to be out of the picture, which means the cable guy has been the middleman to the consumer as far as being the channel delivery vehicle. Now what they're going to be is the pipe. And we go back to the old story of the rise of the dumb pipe from many years ago, which we used to call the telcos. The cable guys are the next telcos.
So let's go into another direction. By the way, it's Andy Abramson joining us. The company's called Communicano. You can find out more about him and his website by going to
Communicano.com or AndyAbramson.com.
Great newsletter every single day. It's out there, consistent, predictable, and reliable with great content. When I say Google, you say they are what kind of company?
Land and expand.
Land and expand.
Land and expand.
Sounds like they're pirates.
That's what they are.
Yeah?
Google has done something, if you look back over the last few months, with every one of their divisions, they've uplifted what they're doing. Google Calendar went through a facelift a few weeks back. Gmail's going through a whole bunch of new additions that are out there now over the last few months. You've got Android and what they're doing inside the Android operating
Everything is
system.
changing.
Look at
Facelifts.
YouTube TV, which they own.
Love it.
Okay? Look at their music platform. What they're doing is they're taking a very outsider perspective first. They're landing, they're gaining market share, and then they're expanding what they're doing.
So should we still look at, let's call them the flag companies, okay? We got Facebook, Amazon, LinkedIn, and Google. Are those the players?
Don't forget Apple.
Well, okay, Apple. Is Apple more than LinkedIn being Microsoft?
Yeah, I think it's
So
I think
throw out
it's Facebook.
Microsoft and LinkedIn.
No, Microsoft is still around there, but Microsoft is not playing the role of disruptor.
Not anymore.
No. Apple still is in the position to disrupt in areas of augmented reality,
Yeah.
artificial intelligence, the connected car. Apple is a consumer company, so everything they're doing, they will disrupt in the consumer space. Let's look at their history. When they came out with the iPhone, what did they do? They pretty much put everybody else out of business.
Come on, you and I
Ericsson.
remember that. Do you remember when Steve Jobs got up on stage saying, this is about to change everything? And that was pretty disruptive, right?
And it took an extra year until he came out with the App Store. Up until then,
You're right.
the iPhone was nothing more than an iPod with a phone in it.
It wasn't that impressive, actually. It was different.
It had a
was-
better user interface. It
That's
had a
what
better
it-
user experience. So Apple's a disruptor. Google's a disruptor. Facebook is a disruptor. And all these companies are disrupting. But Google, we all used to look at Google as, oh no, they're a search company. Google blew search away 10 years ago.
It's true. Andy Abramson joining us. This is the Voice of Disruption. I'm Ken Rakowski. Andy, I want you to help us understand something. Google's product is
The customer.
us.
Yeah.
Because most people think it's search.
No, it's
No,
us.
It's us because the advertiser is the customer.
The advertiser is a customer. The service provider is a customer. The person selling an app, the person
So
selling
their
a web.
goal is constantly to make sure the eyeballs are always there, always fertile and ready to spend.
The best way to describe Google is they're the magnet to the money.
I like that, the magnets of the money. Any other secret players coming out from nowhere? Are we going to see Alibaba or some type of crazy company that's sitting on the fringe that's going to come in and encroach any of this space?
I think we're going to see a different Amazon in 2018.
Oh, yeah.
The Whole Foods acquisition was one part of it. The changes they will make to the production business in Hollywood, they have to.
Yeah. But don't you find it interesting to where in the early 2000s, you had to be a rock star CEO that was out in the public. Maybe John Legere of T-Mobile was probably the personification today of this. But all the big CEOs of all these companies that we mentioned, they're kind of quiet. But then you turn over and look at Jack Ma, right? Over in Alibaba. He's loud, he's disruptive, he wants to be seen, he's shiny, right?
But no one over in the United States even knows who he is other than the investment community.
Makes sense. All right, Andy, last thing real quick. Security. I got to talk about this.
We have to
because-
talk about it. And it's more about your identity that's been totally put at risk. When you look at what's happened in the last 12 to 18 months between the Equifax scandal,
Yep.
where just reckless disregard of your data, and they didn't even tell you, they told the banks.
Well, they told all of us later.
No, they told their customers. They didn't tell the people. Going back to the Google example of who's the customer, it's us, and who's the product, it's us. Well, Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, they have all of our data, but they don't think of us as the customer.
Yeah, and the data now is flawed because it's been cut up, sold. The highest bidder or the even lowest bidder took it. And what's our identity
Well,
now?
as we used to say on Ken Radio and the World Technology Roundup, the security guys work 9 to 5, hackers work 24/7.
They're there.
You take the Yahoo breach, the Anthem breach, the Target breach, the Equifax breach, a bunch of other breaches. All that data has already been put into the cloud, sliced, diced, and your identity's known.
So what do we
Then
do?
they go out and they look at your Facebook profile. Then they go look at your Twitter profile, and they figure more out
do some
about you.
social engineering to figure out how to hack you.
And then somebody tries to date you on, Tinder or one of
happens
those.
all the time. Very popular
I know.
there.
And they start asking you questions. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? And they're just
Were you
sucking
chatting
that
with me
information.
recently?
No.
Okay. So how do we fix this? How do we change who we are with our identities?
Well, Apple's doing the Face ID. You've got the fingerprint ID. I think we're moving more towards a biometric. You're going to hear more audio type voice print analysis is going to come in so that when you're hands free, you can't be, you can't hold the phone to your face when you're driving. You're going to be able to do voice print identification. You're going to see more facial recognition. Where is it going to start? It's going to start in the industries that that everyone knows this stuff starts in first. The adult industry.
The adult industry.
Yeah, that always leads.
It did when it came to payment processing, right?
Technology,
It came through streaming.
identification.
And you really think security it's going to lead?
Yeah.
Really? So if we watch what's going on in the adult sites, we'll kind of get a precursor of what's going to happen in the traditional world sites.
Exactly.
Really?
Always. It has never failed us in 20 years.
See, my biggest concern when it comes to security is not when it comes to our credit card and our personalities. It's more around our cars.
It's our cars, it's our houses.
That's where I get scared.
Well,
Because
you
we
have a
IoT.
souped up electronic car.
Yeah, but I'm still worried about the IoT, the Internet of Everything. When it gets hacked, we get hacked.
Well, so that means the lights, that means the power grid, that
Everything.
means the parking meter. Imagine you put money in the meter and somebody says, oh, that's that Ken Rakowski guy. I want him to get a ticket. And there goes your...
And that's the sound they use too. I think you watched the hacker movie from 1999.
What movie was that?
I don't know. Just one of those hacking movies. Last question, since you are hanging out here. You do an incredible newsletter on a daily basis. You scour the internet to find about, maybe 15 different stories.
Anywhere from 8 on a bad day, 20 on a good day.
And you find what's hot.
I find what's going to be hot.
Yeah, that's true. You kind of predict the future. People want to find out more about that. Where do they go?
AndyAbramson.com.
There you go. You looked right in the camera for that. Look at what Andy's doing. Pay attention to him. He is definitely a disruptor himself. And of course, if you want to be part of those companies, those 45 plus companies that found a way to find their acquisition partner, you go in and hunt down Andy. So that's it. We had a whole show today. I appreciate you hanging out with us. We got a lot more coming up. Never go away. We're always here. We're here to disrupt you. I'm Ken Rakowski. You've been listening and watching The Voice of Disruption. Thanks a lot.